Hey, Chris, you'll never believe this.
What's up?
It looks like the 49ers are going to have a running back injury that makes them start another new running back. It's crazy.
Not entirely surprising. I think Adam Schefter reported that Isaac Guerendo's hamstring injury is likely to keep him out on Sunday,
Yeah.
which I think points to, I sent you this news in via two-way chat earlier today. Not because I think it's huge news for Sunday's game, although it might have big fantasy ramifications for your playoffs.
Sure.
But I do think we can spring it forward towards a broader discussion about running backs and sort of as we head to the offseason and team building for the Niners. I think they need to continue adding running backs. I think despite Isaac Guerendo showing flashes, I think obviously despite Jordan Mason showing flashes of being productive in the parameters of Kyle Shanahan's offense, I think you need to continue to add players at that position because I think it's become pretty clear that no matter who the running back is, no matter what their injury history is, they are prone to get hurt in this offense in the NFL. It's not just exclusive to Kyle Shanahan. It does seem like Kyle Shanahan has an what's the word?
Inordinate.
Thank you. My brain turned off as soon as I started saying that. An inordinate amount of injuries to his running backs. But I think it's true across the NFL. But I would still add, like, I'm probably not drafting like the Boise State running back in the first round, but I also wouldn't be terribly opposed to the Niners adding another running back to potentially help out Christian McCaffrey, give yourself more depth and insulate yourself from injuries.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting spot because Christian McCaffrey's coming back, and the knee injury he had back in week 14, 13 against the Bills, whenever that piece of shit was. It's like a 6-week injury, it looks like. So it's not something that he's going to have to rehab throughout the offseason. He'll get another full offseason to take care of his Achilles stuff, to take care of whatever happened with his knee and his MZ or his PCL, I think it was that he sprained. So you figure Christian McCaffrey's back atop the depth chart. Jordan Mason is a restricted free agent, so the 49ers can get him back on the cheap, which I imagine they will, unless they can trade him for like a day 2 pick. Isaac Guerendo, I think, has acquitted himself well as a 4th round pick here in his rookie season, especially as a pass catcher. He's been pretty impressive. But to your point, Isaac Guerendo played 41 college games in 5 years because he had hamstring injuries. And lo and behold, he missed most of training camp with a hamstring injury. He gets a start against the Bears, hurts his foot, plays against the Rams, and hurts his hamstring. So I think you're right. I don't necessarily think they need to use day 2 or early day 3 picks on the position, but man, you get to the 6th round and you're in the compensatory area of the 6th round, go get a running back. The 7th round, go get a running. If there's an undrafted guy you like, go get him and keep him around. So it's not a Patrick Taylor and then Keyshawn Vaughn and whatever and Israel Abanikanda late in the year, especially if you're going, okay, Isaac Guerendo is RB 2 or 3. You know that guy's got an injury history. Jordan Mason, before he got hurt with the high ankle this year, had a shoulder issue that wouldn't go away. Christian McCaffrey's had injury stuff his entire career, and that's not a knock on these players. It's just kind of the nature of the position. So, again, I don't think the Niners need to start doing anything crazy and drafting running backs early every year, but I think it should be something that throw a dart at that board every year if you need to, just to ensure you have depth that you actually like and want to put on the field.
It is wild to think about, like, the guys that the 49ers have drafted in round 3 and 4 and just haven't had any success, really.
It's brutal.
With Trey Sermon and Ty Davis Price. And, like, why
Joe Williams.
It doesn't Joe Williams, like the Joe Williams stuff makes sense because there were serious red flags going back to his time in college. But, like, I knew people in the building that, like, loved Ty Davis Price. They thought he was going to be, like, a great, a legitimate NFL running back who was perfect for the system, and it just didn't work out. And, same with Trey Sermon. And so I don't know if there's good reasoning, if it's just like it just didn't click for those guys, or those guys felt pressure or didn't take the coaching or what. But it is very odd, the fact that like we look at Kyle Shanahan, the guy who can basically take running backs from anywhere and turn them into productive players, unless they were like third or fourth round picks.
I think one of the issues they're having is that so much of the offense is built around Christian McCaffrey. And if you can't catch passes or you're not a threat as a receiver, it whacks a bunch of the offense. And that's I think, a quote unquote problem they have right now. The other question I have for you is Elijah Mitchell is a free agent after this year. This is the last year of his rookie deal. He's been on IR since August with a hamstring injury. Would you rather re-sign him for cheap, because I can't imagine he's going to have a substantial market, or draft a running back in the 6th or 7th round?
I'd probably rather draft a running back. I think with Mitchell, he had multiple knee surgeries. He's had knee issues for a while. He had the hamstring injury, which was normally hamstring injuries. You think like even really bad ones are like, oh, this might be like a month or something. It was a bad enough hamstring injury in August to end his season, which makes
August
you think
26th.
Which makes you think like the hamstring completely snapped or became I don't even want to speculate, but it
something
sounds just
bad
like
happened to it. It wasn't a normal
something bad happened.
Pull.
The hamstring disconnected from something it was supposed to be connected to. Like that's so I just wonder if the wear and tear on Mitchell is just a little bit too much at this point, because I would think at all you really need in terms of like the running back position is somebody that fits the offense and who could potentially just give you a little bit of durability and be reliable. Like I don't think you need I don't think you need to reinvent the wheel or try to find like this game-breaking running back. I think if you improve the run blocking along the defensive line, that should be the priority in terms of improving the running game, and then finding durable running backs who fit your system.
Real quick before we move on here, if they pick like 15th or 16th and they drafted they draft Ashton Genty from Boise State, I want to let everybody know right now I will defend that pick to the death. I want it so bad. Again, is it good use of draft capital? No, God no. But man, he's exciting. I would be so amped.
I mean, it would definitely be very interesting. Like I would defend the pick from the standpoint of like, look at what the difference was for the Niners offense pre and post Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Right. Like there is something to having an elite running back. That being said, too, I'll also take a hard look at like who they passed up or what opportunities they didn't take in drafting a running back. Like if there's a dude who ends up being like the next Fletcher Cox and has like a decade-long career averaging 8 to 12 sacks a year as a defensive tackle and run stuffer, you'll be like, well, they could have used that guy. Maybe a little bit more than 3 years of the running back.
Counterpoint: 2,497 rushing yards and 29 touchdowns this year.
No, I know. Believe me, I know.
So he's gonna finish his college career with like 5,000 rushing yards in 3 seasons. What a ridiculous player. Anyways, the Niners should draft a running back. I don't think they should necessarily do that in the first round. But if they
I'm fine with a running back anytime.
I would be mad.
I'm fine with a running back anytime on day 3, I think.
Me too. Unless okay, let me amend that real quick and then we'll move on. I don't want them to keep trading up for running backs.
Yeah, I agree.
They not necessarily, at least not in the couple of drafts coming up. I get the idea of like, identified that guy, let's take the swing, and okay, it did or didn't work. Trey Sermon, Ty Davis Price. But they even traded up to go get Isaac Guerendo. In these next couple of drafts where they just need to start restocking the cupboard, particularly with cost controlled talent, I I think they need to have as many bites at the apple as they can, and trading 2 5th-round picks to get into the 4th round to draft a running back isn't something I think they should be doing.
Trade back for running backs.
Yeah.
That's the move.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. The run game will be solved more by offensive line upgrades than running backs.
Yeah, I think so.
I was listening to 95.7 The Game today in San Francisco. Willard and Dibbs, salute. Love them. They had a take on the show. I'm not going to throw a host under the bus, but one of the hosts had the take that the 49ers over the final 3 weeks should be benching their starters. And I got to tell you, you want to lose a locker room, you want to have a coach lose a locker room, go tell a bunch of football players that they're not allowed to play. Go tell guys who have earned these snaps, who have earned their roles. Go tell Dre Greenlaw, who's trying to put tape out that he can play as he heads into free agency. Same thing with Talanoa Hufanga. Go tell them they're not going to play. Go tell Brock Purdy, who may or may not have something to prove still. Hey, Brock, go ahead and sit. Go ahead and sit these last 3. Hey, Debo, who might be a free agent in the offseason, you're going to sit. Hey, George Kittle, who's playing through everything and always does and loves nothing more than to go out onto the football field and hit people, go ahead and take a seat. Like, no chance. Like, you want to we talk about Kyle Shanahan. Did he lose the locker room? He hasn't. Like, very clearly, based on the response to the Devondre Campbell thing, that just to me spoke of a unified locker room. That's a good way to do it. Go quit. Go openly quit, and see how that works out. I think it's a terrible idea.
Yeah, I do think it would be kind of hypocritical, particularly on the heels of the Devondre Campbell thing.
Yes.
We're gonna get really, really upset at a player for quitting, but we are going to punt on the final 3 weeks of the season. I'm with you on the logic. I will say though, and not like, I think they should just pack it in for Trent Williams. Like,
yes, Trent that's Williams very different though.
Yeah, like Trent Williams doesn't need to come back, and I think you can make a similar case for Nick Bosa, right? And this is unique because it's 2 of your most important players and 2 guys who are dealing with injuries that they've tried to play through previously and have hurt themselves even more,
right?
And done damage because of it.
Exactly.
So with the exception of those 2 guys, yeah, like I'm with you 100%. You play your starters, like, unless, like it seems like, and we're not on the practice field, so we don't know who's getting reps. Right. If your starters are getting reps, those are the guys you have to play.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not gonna have your start like, hey guys, like, give your all at practice this week, and then take a seat on Sunday. Like that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And yeah, like a lot of these guys, you have a lot of free agents, right? Like Charvarius Ward hasn't had the best season, at least to his standards. And there's obviously been a lot of off the field stuff and personal stuff, family stuff that's more important than football that's happened with him.
Mm-hmm.
But he would love to have some good tape out there that he could show prospective teams when he does hit free agency. Same for Dre Greenlaw. Same for Talanoa Hufanga. The 49ers have been a player-friendly organization. Like they have, and part of that is empowering them to say, all right, if you're not going to come back next year, like go put some good film on tape and and like do, go put some good stuff together so you can go get your next contract. Like those, that is part of the calculus for these situations. So whether it's, Aaron Banks or Talanoa Hufanga or Trey Greenlaw or any of the other free agents that they have, like that stuff matters to players. And that's ultimately like that ethos, the being player friendly ethos that the 49ers have had under Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch is how they've gotten Trent Williams and Richard Sherman, right? Like it's how you get respected veterans to want to play for you, is you respect players and the process and put them in positions where they can maximize their careers and how much money they make. And yeah, if you shut guys down through these last 3 games of the season, particularly guys who are headed towards free agency, then you are impacting potentially their ability to maximize what they can get on the open market, because a lot of these guys haven't had the best seasons and don't have the best tape out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you 100%. But with the one caveat,
Also,
obviously, if you have superstar players who you're banking on for 2025, who have hurt themselves already playing through injury, i.e. Nick Bosa and Trent Williams, they can be on the shelf the rest of the year. I'd be fine with that.
if Fred Warner goes to Kyle Shanahan and says, "Hey man, this ankle's really bothering me. I'm done."
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, go get that ankle fixed. Like that's. But if Fred Warner goes, "I'm fine," and the team doctors say, "Yeah, he can't hurt it worse," okay, he's gonna go play. So I just and the other thing is, if this is the second half of Week 18, and the Cardinals aren't playing for anything, and they've thrown their backups in, and you want to do the same, and you want to treat it like a preseason game, all right, that's fine. But 3 weeks of football where you're just going to pull your guys? 3 entire weeks? That's such a long time. That is so many games. It's so many quarters. Right. So yeah, no, I think that is a horrible idea. The 49ers, clearly they're going to pick somewhere in the like 14 to 16 range in the draft, and that's what it's going to be, whether they win out or lose out. So I'm not worried about that. This is more about keeping the locker room as together as possible here, moving into next year. And I think if you're benching guys, that's where you start to have a problem.
Yeah, and things can get weird at the end of seasons. I would just prevent it from being weird. Like, just play your guys. Yep. Don't push them back if they're dealing with injuries like they would in a normal scenario, and let your pending free agents, even if they're starters, go out there and try to get as much money as possible. Because even if it means that they price themselves out, it's still the best thing for you to do as an organization, because who knows how that can come back around, right?
Yep.
Maybe they got Trent Williams because Trent Williams wanted to come to the 49ers. That is basically what happened. It was like Trent Williams could have gone to other teams, but Trent Williams made it very clear he wanted to come to the 49ers when the 49ers got him.
Yep.
So
that's it.
Everything okay over there?
Yeah, I was getting my next our next segment ready, and to do that I have to look at my phone. And I set my phone on my keyboard, and it started doing stuff on the screen. So
I just saw the look on your face. I was like, man, my take wasn't that terrifying.
No. You were fine. I was hoping that I wasn't ending the stream or anything. And if you want to watch the stream, subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Candlestick Chronicles podcast, or just search Candlestick Chronicles on YouTube and we'll pop up right there. Chris has been doing some excellent work behind the scenes to make our stream look significantly better. Chris is improving our stream.
Yeah, you get older in life. That's what it's all about.
You want to move on to Prize Picks?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Here's what I'm rocking with this week. And again, this is Prize Picks, is daily fantasy sports. We're going to give you our lineup for this week. If you would like to play along, please do download the Prize Picks app today. Use code Candlestick to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, best place to get real money sports action. Over 10 million users. It's the best way to get action on sports in over 30 states. That includes California, Florida, Georgia, Texas. I know we got people listening all over the country. Hop in on Prize Picks. We're having so much fun with it. It has improved the way I watch sports. And here's what I've got with the 49ers and Dolphins game coming up Sunday. My first one, I've got Brock Purdy, more than 32 pass attempts. I think that the 49ers running back situation, he was at 31 last week. I think Isaac Guerendo not playing is going to make the 49ers lean more heavily on their quarterback. And I also think the Dolphins are going to score some. So I imagine Brock Purdy is going to put the ball in the air quite a bit. I'm going more than 32 pass attempts for Brock Purdy. How we feel about that?
I like it. I would definitely agree. And I think one thing I would like to see the Niners do is see if they can improve the passing game against zone coverage.
Yeah.
Because that was a very clear, and we can talk about that in the offseason, but that was a very clear hindrance to them this year. Like, teams just started loading up in key scenarios on man-to-man coverage, and Brock Purdy's been good against zone his whole career. but there was a dramatic dip in their production against man-to-man. So if I'm the Dolphins, I'm playing a lot of man. And if I'm trying to evaluate the 49ers going into the offseason and into next year, I'm trying to get Brock Purdy to be better against man-to-man coverage.
One of the ways that Brock Purdy could be better against man-to-man coverage is if his receivers get open against it. One of the guys who struggles to get open against man is Deebo Samuel. And I'm going less than 44.5 receiving yards for Deebo because over his last 5 games, you could combine any 2 of those games and not get to more than 44.5 yards.
Yeah, it's rough.
It's if he has a great game, it'll be salute. Good to see it. Would love to see Deebo have a vintage Deebo game because there's not a lot of things more fun in the NFL than Deebo when he's really rolling. But whatever it is right now, whether it's injury stuff, whether it's displeasure with the offense, whether it's the quarterback, whether it's the play calling, I'm not trying to assess that. What I am assessing is that I don't believe Deebo Samuel is going to go more than 44.5 receiving yards, so I'm going to go less on that number for Deebo.
Yeah, in agreement. Until we see a big game from him, I have a hard time believing that it's going to happen. So Yeah, I'm with you. It's unfortunate.
Something we talked about on the last episode of the podcast is my third entry in my lineup. I'm going Ricky Pearsall more than 20.5 receiving yards. He has to be a player the 49ers feature here down the stretch. And I think they're going to want to because Kyle Shanahan mentioned it in his press conference on Wednesday. Pearsall, even before he got shot, missed a bunch of... It's insane.
So crazy.
It's ridiculous. So crazy. Talking about the 49ers have had all these injury issues this year. Christian McCaffrey had his Achilles thing. Elijah Mitchell got hurt early. Brandon Ayuk out for the season. Ricky Pearsall got shot. It's nuts, dude. Salute to him for coming back.
Barely participated in training camp and then got shot.
Right. And so Kyle Shanahan brought that up and how, it basically he came to them from Florida and got 3 practices in and then was on the field. And we know how tough the Shanahan offense is on rookie receivers. So I think one of the ways that you can kind of make up for lost time is just giving him reps in games. And so I think they're going to do that. I think you're going to see him featured a little bit more. He had 4 targets against the Rams. I think you're going to see that target number tick up 4, 5, 6 here over the next few games. We saw against Tampa Bay, he had 6 targets. He got 4 balls for 73 yards and a touchdown. So I like Ricky Pearsall more than 20.5 receiving yards. In fact, he might do that on 1 catch. He might clear that on 1 reception. So I feel really good about that one. Ricky Pearsall more than 20.5 receiving yards. Thoughts?
I'm with you. Great. Feels like if he gets open like he did in the Tampa Bay game where he scored that long touchdown, that hits your more than right there.
Sweet. I'm also going because you can't pick just one team and you can't pick the same player twice in your lineup. I'm going Devon Achane. Miami Dolphins running back. Rushing yards in his first 5 rushing attempts, I'm going more than 18.5. The Niners' run defense hasn't been great lately. And you see Devon Achane getting around the corner and going for 12 yards early in the game. And then he needs 7 yards on his next other 4 carries. I feel really good about that one.
Don't hate it at all. Achane's a really good player, really fast.
Electric, yeah.
I could see Mike McDaniel doing some really tricky stuff too.
Yeah, like he and Shanahan are just going to try and get in their bag against one another.
Just deep in the satchels. Just
Mike McDaniel, possibly a job interview, an audition on Sunday.
Oh, interesting.
And then my last one, because Prize Picks, you don't have to do the same sport. And because the NBA season is in full swing, or the pro basketball season is in full swing, I'm going Nikola Jokic. They have a Christmas Day special for you where Nikola Jokic is at half a point. So I went more than half a point. I feel really good about the best player in the NBA scoring at least 1 point against Phoenix on Christmas Day. That rounds out my 5-pick flex play, which means even if I don't get all 5 of my entries correct, I can still recoup a little bit of money. So salute to Prize Picks for inventing the flex play. I play it all the time, and it is part of the reason that Prize Picks is so fun. Shout out to Prize Picks.
I like
Download
it.
The Prize Picks. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I love the Nikola Jokic play. Seen him play a few times in person now.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely feel like he can get some points for you there and hit that It's more than half a point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel really, really good about that.
Yeah, I've been grinding a lot of tape, and it just he's gonna hit that one for me. Download the Prize Picks app today. Play along. Use code Candlestick to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, that's code Candlestick to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Got a prediction for Sunday?
I think I picked Niners in every single game until Green Bay and Buffalo. I'm going back to the well. Niners are going to rally. They're going to circle the wagons. Spend a lot of time looking at themselves in the mirror this week. Sick of losing. I think they are going to bounce back. Kyle Shanahan is going to have something for his old guy, Mike McDaniel. I'm going to take the Niners. I have no idea what the point spread is. I have not looked, but taking the Niners money line. Straight up.
Wow. Love that. I believe the Niners are favored by 1.5. Dolphins might be favored by 1.5. It's not a lot. Dolphins are favored by 1.5.
Okay.
I think they're gonna galvanize around the Devondre Campbell thing.
Oh,
that has been such a big deal and such a talking point. And then you've got Dre Greenlaw talking about, his pending free agency and just wanting to get out and play with his brothers for these last few games and win some games. I think they might win this one by a couple of scores. I'm going 49ers 27, Dolphins 17.
Dolphins are 6-8. Both teams are 6-8. The strength of victory for the Dolphins is pretty low. Looks like the second lowest in the AFC. The teams that they've beaten have a combined win percentage of 274. So they do not beat good teams. So I still think the Niners are better than their record. Like, you look at the DVOA numbers for offense and defense, they're both, I think offense was like 8 and defense is 11 or something like that. So they're kind of, those numbers are better than their record would indicate. So I still think the Niners, like, if you want to take a silver lining from this season, it's that, like, yeah, they haven't closed games and they've lost a lot of games they should have won, but like there's still the foundation there of a good football team. Like, it's not, we don't need to like completely destroy everything and rebuild it from the ground up. I think they just need to get healthier. But anyway, point being, I think the Niners are probably better than most of the teams the Dolphins have beat this year, which is my logic for picking them.
I think that's probably right. The 49ers, by the way, have the second highest strength of schedule in the NFL. Only behind the Raiders, who played the Chiefs twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think they're going to win. I think Miami is checking out on the season. Miami just lost to Houston. They just snuck by the Jets the week before that. They beat the Patriots, the Raiders. They got a nice little win over the Rams down at SoFi. But I just don't. They lost to the Colts earlier this year. I can say. Yeah. I think they're checked out. My buddy Jesse, who's a Dolphins fan, is done with Mike McDaniel. And I'm using that to project onto the entire team, and I think they've quit on Mike McDaniel.
Okay.
One fan said it, so that's obvious.
I saw Pro Football Talk discussing the idea of trading Mike McDaniel to the Chicago Bears, so we'll see. Keep an eye on that.
Hey,
people are talking about it.
And because you know what? Anything can happen. Never say never or something like that.
Yeah. Dysfunction knows no bounds or something.
So dumb. All right, Mike, you got it.
Oh, yeah.
All right. That's all we got. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not. Hit the thumbs up button on all of our videos. We would appreciate that. Hit the little notification bell so you are notified when we go live, which we do after every single game. Love doing those live shows. Appreciate everybody who participates in the chat in those. YouTube.com/@Candlestick Chronicles podcast, or just search Candlestick Chronicles on YouTube and you will find us right there. We are also, of course, for you audio people out there, we are available wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe, rate, and review, and let your friends know about us. You got an NFL group chat, you got a Niner group chat. Just drop this episode into the group chat. Let everybody know to subscribe. We'd appreciate the hell out of it. We will talk to you guys after the 49ers and Dolphins game.